Hello everyone, I am so excited to be live because today in this Opus Clip Workshop, we're going to be talking about how Opus Clip is an easy to use auto editing software for your YouTube content. So a lot of people know Opus Clip for its multiple different uses, but it can go a lot deeper than just generating YouTube shorts or clips. And that's really what we're going to be talking about here today. And I'm so excited to be live here because this is a really good conversation. I want to give people opportunity and time to join, but I have to say I'm really excited for what we're talking about today because a lot of people know Opus Clip and maybe you've used it in the past, but one thing I've really appreciated about being an Opus Clip partner and getting to do these live streams is seeing how Opus Clip has evolved. In our last live stream, we talked about its thumbnail generator, and this one we're talking about its editing capabilities, and it's only going to continue to get better. So if you're watching live or if you're watching in the replay, let me know at this moment, what is your favorite Opus Clip feature? Always curious what people are saying, what people are thinking. So just really would love to hear what people are saying. So another thing I want to really just take a moment to say is if you would like more information about how to use Opus Clip, we always have helpful resources in the description down below. And so I just want to make sure that we have this conversation. Good to see you there, Stanley, here in the chat. But I want to get right into it. So one thing I want to know is if you're new here or you're an existing Opus Clip user, have you used auto editing tools before Opus Clip, or is Opus Clip your first? It always gives us, a good idea of how things are going, especially when it comes to just making sure that we're discussing everything we can. So it's that conversation of, is Opus Clip your first tool that does this, or have you used something else? With that also said, if you would like to give Opus Clip a try, you can do so via the link in the description. With that as well, let's go ahead and show some of Opus Clip. Really excited, like I said, what we're going to get to show here today. So I want to make sure I share my screen. So if you are brand new, Opus Clip is as easy as it says. One long video, 10 viral clips, create faster. So we have done a few live streams now. So I actually want to focus on this one, and we're going to use that for our example. Now, with this, you can see that all I have to do is get free clips. It's going to do a bunch of things for me. So there's a couple ways I can read this, right? Now, I can just load this and we can use Clip Anything. This is their smartest model. We can go deeper, right? So here's something we could do. We could focus on a bunch of different resources and ways that we can edit this piece of content. So I know this is talking head speech. This is really informational and educational. And also this is pretty much a webinar. I think that's fair to say. Notice we have 8 people watching. Thank you for joining us here this morning. So good to see you, Demps Design. Happy to have you here with us. So one thing I want to focus on whenever I'm creating content with Opus is this is something you can do is prompt it. And if you're not sure, they do have some helpful videos from the man, the myth, the legend, Nick Nimmin. So I want to go ahead and say, find all the moments that would be full screen speaking to camera like I'm doing now. Make sure these moments are engaging, fun, and would make good YouTube shorts. Now I'm going to go back to the top. And again, I say YouTube shorts because, well, we're on YouTube. I'm going to also add act as a YouTube expert. And then with that, we're going to analyze the whole thing. Because this is going to be for the Opus Clip YouTube channel, I want to make sure I'm using the Opus Clip template I made. As you can see, there are these quick presets down here. So whether you're brand new and maybe it's your first time using it as an auto editing option, there are already existing presets. So maybe you haven't had time to set up your own. That's completely fine. They have simple captions, which this definitely fits more of a TikTok style. They have different creatives. You can also choose your aspect ratio. So if you want to do something maybe for Instagram, you want 1:1, or maybe even LinkedIn, they have traditional 16:9 if you just want clipping, or 4:5. So really like the options. I'm going to go ahead and use our Opus Clip template. Now we have given it a lot of information. You can also just let the AI detect. So whether you're brand new, that is something you can easily do. And once it's all said and done, we're going to hit get clips in one click. And it really is that easy. In the background, it says it's going to take a few minutes for this to load. So I just wanted to make sure that we give that time. The next thing I want to talk about is, we're using real live stream footage, but you can also film brand new material for this and put it in Opus Clip, and you can use it to edit. You can use it to do a lot of things. So I actually have found for myself in my own channel, what I've been using Opus Clip for is for some closed caption generation because it has a lot of good features. They just raised the limit on the don't clip anything, and I want to show that off too. So if you're brand new, maybe you don't know about this. Let's say that you are not sure what you want, right? And that's fine. That is more than okay. We're going to get this shareable link. We are going to drop it here. And here's what we're going to do. Instead of AI clipping, which is a great option, we can hit don't clip. Now, keep in mind, what I'm about to show off does require a bit more credits. In fact, I'm going to go full screen so you guys can see this even better. Now, it's going to process this entire 40-minute video. What this can do for me, because I'm processing it, I do have the Opus Clip 16:9 template. It can use this to process this video. So if I want to edit it, you can go ahead and use this just as a broad editor. And this is another way if you want just even more control over your Opus Clip. There's other ways I'm going to show as the other piece renders. But this does a multitude of factors for you, and it's a lot more than just captions. On YouTube, there are something called SRT files, caption files, right? And the beauty of it, and what Opus Clip is doing, they partnered with things such as 11 Labs. This is all on their website, by the way. So you can use Opus Clip to generate SRT files for videos up to 120 minutes long. And this is game changing because on YouTube, YouTube uses the captions to better understand what your video is about. So if you have better captions, and this is a feature within Opus Clip that they offer, you should definitely use it if you're paying or even if you're considering giving it a shot. I've been using this feature lately. It has been really helpful for my content just to make sure I'm doing everything I can to make it clear what my video is about, not only for YouTube, but more importantly, the audience. And that's one of the benefits of Opus Clip. It's not just about, creating quick shorts. It's also very usable. Now, I don't want to waste any more time. We're going to go ahead and hit get clips in one click. We're going to start, making sure this is loading in the background. You can see these are both loading. Now, granted, I'm not going to make you sit here and wait. One thing I've already done to kind of show this is I've done this on a live stream already for me. Now, this will generate as just one clip. One cool thing about this is if you're getting ready to edit, you'll first click edit clip here. But let's say you don't have a good microphone or you're still getting used, to editing audio. You can improve your vocal clarity and remove background sound with just one button click. I love that. Now, if you would like to use an AI voice, you can. For me, that's not my personal favorite tool, but maybe you'll want to give it a shot. I do love this feature. So if you are brand new, and let's say you're just starting to use like Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve, you can actually export projects into those. Now, keep in mind, this is a very big file. It will probably take a little more time. If I really wanted to, I could publish this, but an extra benefit of importing your live streams into Opus Clip is Opus Clip can tell you how you did. So it gives you a likelihood that this video will do well. Now, granted, this is more geared towards shorts, but it's good to see. The hook could be strengthened by directly addressing the problem or aspiration related to online videos, why I give it an A-. The flow, the clip showcases a smooth structured conversation with smooth transitions and a complete narrative, demonstrating a clear understanding of community building to further enhance the experience. Opus Clip, if you didn't know, this tip is great. If you want a second look at how your content's doing, even before we get into the editing, Opus Clip can analyze your previous live streams to better help you understand how they look. This is like getting a second opinion on how you did on a live stream. If you're brand new, or even if you've been doing this for a while, all you have to do is the following. Open up Opus Clip, import your video or live stream. Keep in mind there's a 120-minute limit. But then all you have to do once it renders is it'll give you a overall score, 91, and then it'll give you some things that you can think of for your next stream. And this is a great way for you to improve because Opus Clip has used this score. They have talked to creators, they've talked to platforms what they're looking for. And it's just a great way for you to get better at these things. So if you're looking to improve your live streaming, consider using Opus Clip. And that's again one of those easy things that you can do. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hit edit clip, right? Now, it's going to take just a second. It's going to be fetching the resources. It's going to be needing to do all the things. But you'll notice it does a really good job of just being a baseline editor. And all those things I could do. Let's say I wanted to re-upload this live stream, or maybe I want to kind of make it tighter. You know, there's some pauses in here that weren't, you know, it's not bad. It's lulls in conversations, but there are, you know, remove filler words. There's remove pauses. Now keep in mind, as I click these things, based on the file size of this, might take a little bit, but that doesn't mean anything bad. That's just something, you know, we got to get used to. And it's 207 filler words removed. That was pretty quick. Gotta be honest. Now, let's do the same thing with pauses. 431. Jeez. So let's go ahead and remove. And again, I could go in. I could edit all of these things. But what I tell people is this is not my favorite part about editing something, especially. Now, keep in mind, you should always review your footage. This might not be the best use case because sometimes pauses are natural and they kind of fit that experience. But sometimes they're not needed or they could actually detract. So with that, I mean, I could have done that manually, but that just saved us so much time. And again, if you ever need to, you can always undo a change. So I'm going to quickly undo that. And I see from Demp Designs, thank you, watching from Florida. I've used Opus Clip before on mobile, but I couldn't edit the captions. I will say that Opus Clip is best used on desktop in my experience, but you can definitely use it on mobile devices. Just keep in mind that's just some limits of the smaller screen, things like that. But I definitely can take that feedback and send it to the team. Nick Niman Raid, good to see you, legal-minded friends, Karen Cole. So right now we are just within Opus Clip. I see we have some more folks coming on over. Great to see everyone. If you're just joining the live stream or you've been watching and you're watching the replay, here's what you need to know. Opus Clip is a lot more than just a captions tool. It's more than just a YouTube Shorts generator, or TikTok or Instagram generator. It's a full-blown editor. And today we're talking about that. We've been pulling in live streams, and you could do this with video footage. You can do this with a lot of different things. And so what I'm going to do is just kind of level set and reset here, right? We're going to quickly save this. And then I want to show off what we've been able to do. Now, this live stream is actually built, and it's going to take about 60 seconds to save. If you're brand new, Opus Clip has extended the range that they can read and understand content up to 120 minutes in their not clipping section. So what I mean by that is that you can bring in a 120-minute live stream into Opus Clip and get a lot of value. I have a video on this coming on my personal channel. I'm waiting for my voice to get better. I got some throat coat here in my Opus Clip mug. Shout outs to Opus Clip for sponsoring the stream. But I will say this, Opus Clip is so much more than just a captions tool. It is very helpful. And if you're watching, I have a question for you. What are your common struggles when it comes to editing? One thing I hear on my own Discord server, I've seen in the Opus Clip Discord server, is that time, tech barriers, and just sometimes they don't want to see themselves, or it just takes so much to cut out the cut out those in-between moments, you know? And so I'm just curious what people are saying, what people are feeling. Happy to have the Niman Raid join us. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard here, and I think I can show this pretty soon here with the Opus Clip live stream, just kind of what I'm talking about. This was the one where, you know, I was adding it in. We really didn't focus on anything but just bringing it in. And so I'll go back to this live stream I actually have. And so this is the overall live stream. So this live stream I brought in because I actually wanted to use a feature within Opus Clip that I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to go over here. First, this gives me an idea that I could have done better on this live stream. 89 out of 100 is not a bad score, but it's not great. Not for me anyway. I try to go with the high 90s. So what do I say? Hook, introduction immediately states the topic with a relevant question, which is really good to grasp the audience's attention. And it could be even better by adding the hook to make the viewers keep watching. Flow, the content is very well explained and structured, providing clear definitions and examples, and it could benefit from a slightly more concise summary. saying I'm a little long-winded. Then there's value, right? The presenter offers valuable insights on YouTube metrics and growth, and to boost engagement, consider incorporating more visuals. Says I'm too talking to camera. That's why, I'm balancing it right here, a little more visual. Trend, videos, content focused on YouTube analytics, impressions, click-through rate is highly relevant. Perfect. Now, that doesn't mean that, I should overdo visuals, but, with the Nim and Raid here, want to say hi to some folks to get some more visuals. Hello there, Doug. Hello there, Susan. Hello there, everyone joining. But it goes to show, like, even me, someone, who's really good at, creating content, I always have room to grow. And that's not a bad thing. So if you go to the editor, here's a couple of things you can know. You can edit this clip by clicking Edit Clip. Now, what this is going to do for me is a couple of things, right? If, let's say, I wanted to cut this down as a webinar or offer this to my members in a different way, there's a couple ways I could do this. So for this one, if you notice these dots, there's some pauses in between my thoughts. That's not a bad thing, but if one of the things that takes you a lot of time is removing pauses, we'll click on AI Enhancements here. And then I'm going to click Remove Filler Words, so ums and uhs. See if I have any in here. Opus Clip, within a click of a button, removed 26 filler words. Let's look at pauses. Ooh, 511 pauses. Keep in mind, I could manually do this. This is something I easily could do. It would just take me a lot of time. Remove in one click. Now, what this is going to do as I'm talking is it's processing it in the background. And that just saves me more time. And the more time I save here, the more actual editing I can do. And then I could do that actual editing in a bunch of different ways. So as this is loading, I want to make sure that 511 silence is paused. We went from 55 minutes to 47 minutes and 45 seconds. Now, I have not reviewed this footage. I'm going full screen. You should always review your edits no matter what you're doing. Now, obviously, this is a longer file. Maybe you watch it at a higher speed. But I will say you should definitely make sure that you're reviewing these things, because as good as it is, sometimes you may want to edit and touch up a little bit, and that's what we're here for. I see a question before we go back, and I see a couple comments. So I say too many ums. Been trying to be mindful of that, as clipping cannot always blend with flow. Very true. I like editing. I am just slow at it. Need to get up to date with Opus, as some of its features will speed things up. Absolutely. Like I said, I just removed so many things that I'm going to manually review. Keep in mind. But to do that, I can just do it as I'm watching the scrape. See, from Kent, is there a good way to make larger segment videos with Opus over 20 minutes? The time to create good titles takes a lot of time. Thanks. We have around an hour and a half podcast. Is there a good way to make larger? Yes, that's actually what I'm showing off. Let's go. I want to go back all the way to the beginning here. Let's do it. We'll do it live. So I'm going to share my screen. So you have, you said you have longer, is there a good way to make larger segment videos? Absolutely. We're going to get a shareable link from this past live stream I've done. We are going to go to Opus Clip. And another thing, if you're ever wondering, like, what are some new features of Opus Clip, you can absolutely just put here. You can see their new thumbnail maker. You can see what they're up to. I'm going to quickly go a little bit broader there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this link, get free clips. Good to see you, Timmy Tech Support. Happy to have you here. So now, as it's reading, this question came from Kent, and it was, is there a good way to make larger segment videos with an Opus Clip over 20 minutes? The time to create good titles takes a lot of time with me. So if you're looking for AI clipping where Opus does more work, you can easily, go down here, or you can do some editing yourself where you hit don't clip. You can either do the full live stream. It goes up to 120 minutes. I saw you have an hour and a half podcast, so that should be 90 minutes if I'm doing the math correctly. So if you know the segment you want, you can easily do it, or you can do the whole clip, which is how I brought this live stream in. So you're going to hit don't clip. This is only going to add captions, but it's still going to allow you to edit it a little bit better. So you can find those moments, still use some of the great features of Opus Clip. And as we're editing this, I could easily just use some of the tools Opus Clip provides, right? So I know that for me, I can edit these captions, right? I can click a starting moment. Let's say This is a video follow-up. I could find moments that make sense to start it, to stop it. I'm just saying hi to some of the chat. I can say, we know that YouTube shared this around. I'll say this is where I want to start. You can still use those Opus Clip tools. So I can set this as my start. And what it's going to do is it's going to do that edit for me. I now have that clear start. And that's really helpful. And, you know, if I ever want to add all those things back, I can. But again, it's about saving time. And just like that, it has already done that editing for me. If I go to it, this is where we're starting. And granted, that may not be where I want to start. So I'm going to undo this change. But that's just how one of those ways that you can not only create this and then edit it. And the beauty of this as well is that because I've done this in Opus Clip and it has all these functionalities, there is a lot we can do in terms of some of the other editing. Oh, going to wait for the page. There we go. It worked. Sorry about that. It was just a lot for my little Google Chrome to run. I'm also running the live stream. I got a lot going on my computer, but just as I showed, very cool to see. You can also look at text. You can add some transitions between everything. You could add AI, like I mentioned before. There's B-roll, so maybe I want to use stock B-roll on this. Keep in mind, and I will say, this is a longer 47-minute video. It might take a little bit, but even then, it's going to analyze this transcript. It's using that unique Opus Clip feature, and we've made real edits. Like a lot of what I've shown are things, are things you could easily just do there, right? Another thing you could do with like AI enhancements, and as this is going to add B-roll, you can see there's multiple different B-roll spots. You should, of course, look through this, and you can look through by scrubbing through. You can just go through your timeline here, see all the different places it added. Now, granted, because I am not able to watch this, I wouldn't make the most engaging stream. I'm going to undo that. Actually, I'll save my change. Let's just keep them in for the sake of example. Great question. This is a great question. What is B-roll? So in camera, this goes back to the like filming days, right? So if you don't know what B-roll is, A-roll is the main you talking to camera. This is me and you right now. B-roll is like a close-up. Let's say I'm reviewing a coffee mug. It's a close-up of the coffee mug, but I'm still talking in the A-roll in the background. It is your second camera, your rolling of the film. Your A-roll, your primary camera. B-roll can be your secondary camera. In this instance, it's those supporting things. Like if I mention a trip I took to New York City, instead of just having me on camera, I could show video of me filming from, New York City. I know we have Susan here in the chat, aka Homekeeping Channel. She wants to do a travel channel to London and all of those things. So maybe for her, she starts with saying, these are the best places you can go in London to eat. But then as she's saying that, we have B-roll of different restaurants we're going to see in those videos. So that's just a quick example of what B-roll is. Now, once this is done saving, you can export this in either Adobe Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve. So you're going to click export, which it's going to have to wait for this to save. I am asking it to do a lot all at once, and we're testing this live. So hopefully that helps answer. I see. Thanks for that. Yes, that is what B-roll is in a very quickly condensed way. So it is loading all of this as we go. And now, another thing to keep in mind when you're using this is your credit plan, right? There are different levels and plans for different credit. Great explanation. Thank you. Of course, Homekeeping Channel. Got to keep supporting those who support us. Come to many of these streams. We do these streams bi-weekly here on Saturdays. It's a lot of fun. We talk about different Opus Clip features and tricks. So one thing as we're going, I wanted to make sure we have a lot going on. I'm asking Opus to do a lot. Thankfully, Opus can handle a lot. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to use the Opus Clip template. We're going to make this. Keep in mind credit usage, right? So this is going to take 47 credits. A lot of different plans have different amounts of credits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly, make sure I put this in chat and in the description so you can know. But Opus Clip, if you're doing these with your longer pieces, it will use more credits. But, you can check how the credits work by, I'll put the link in the chat now, how credits work One thing to keep in mind if you're on different plans, that, you get 300 credits per month per pack. So Pro, Starter, you get 150 credits. With the free version, you also get credits. Another thing to keep in mind is they do, these are things that you can utilize. So depending on how long your live stream is and how much you want to do, it definitely will matter in that. So I just want to make sure I talk about that really quick. This one is ready to get going. We're going to hit get clips in one click. And already all these things that are processing in the background, this live stream, which I haven't watched yet, this one's got a 99 out of 100. This is one of the ones we talked about for editing. So this is one of those examples where if I wanted to edit this, we're going to hit edit clip. Now this is a common one for me where I'm screen sharing and, I have different things on screen. Maybe I go full screen, right? Like I did there. And look at that. I'm wearing the same hoodie, my Opus Clip hoodie here. I talk about different formats. Now, you may notice it says, eagle-eyed viewers can notice it says gameplay. Here's something to keep in mind when you're doing these things. Right here is a layout of the selected screen. If I wanted to fill the screen with just me, I could do that to layout fill. I could do it fit to where maybe it's blurred the background, shows the screen share a different way, and that's how it does it. I could split it, which is not perfect for me, but you could crop this to be a little closer. So maybe I want to crop this like this. But then you might notice that, when I crop it like this, I am going to need to like zoom in a little bit. And that's a little close for my comfort personally, but maybe this is what I want to go for. Then for the crop here, I want to make sure that we're showing off what I'm talking about. And this is just stuff you can do within your own Opus Clip, right? You just hit the crop button, and I'll show that again if you're wondering, how is he doing that? Select it. There's this crop icon. You could also, if you notice the keyboard shortcut, if I hit X on my keyboard, brings up the same feature. Opus Clip does support keyboard, shortcuts, but it has custom. I could also do these. It could have different ways it splits. So if I click the X again, get that crop tool, maybe I want this to be 16:9, and then I crop it a little closer. So again, we're going closer within Opus Clip here. Hit apply, and then boom. Now I have a screen share that's a little bit different. I'm actually going to crop this way too close for me. But you can see the different ways that Opus tries to do things, right? And with a 1x1 crop, it's a little tight, but that'll do. Because now what I can do is I can move that, and it's closer than I would actually edit, but one of the things you can do. And so that's just one of those things that you could easily do to format this a little bit different with the split format. You can also do something like screen share, which is what this is, where I am sharing my screen. I'm going to drag this to the bottom. Oh, drag that a little further to the bottom. Put myself back on top. And then we are going to, once again, crop. Maybe I'll do a crop like that, a little different. We zoom in. It's just another way to get this done. And there we go. Now I put myself a little back on top. Maybe I crop my like that. Share my screen. We watch it. And then this is just a quick overview of that. If at any moment I wanted to do more, or I wanted to see how it changes, I could easily go back to fill, see how that goes, 60 and go size formats. However, it didn't keep it perfectly, and I'm going to go back to screen share. But one difference you could do is if you like yourself on top, you can go to gameplay and it'll put this at the bottom. I'm going to go and do the crop, that 16:9 like we talked about. There we are. Perfect. Apply. Then we're going to crop here. We're going to go for the 1x1. Then I'm going to crop a little bit closer in. So the fun thing, I can go custom as well. I think I'll just do custom for this. Maybe I show a little bit more of myself, gives me a little more room. As long as you see the face, I think that's kind of what I'm going for. Another thing you could do is if you would like a custom background, you can click the upload button. I have my Opus Clip background. I could add this to the timeline, which I have now done. So now what this will do is in the back of my videos, if I set this up correctly, let's see if I can do this. I could set this up as my video background. That could be something maybe I want to try. I'll delete this for now. You can also hit the delete button here. So that's something you could do. You could also upload your own images, your own video, your own audio. So there's a lot you can do with the upload. That hasn't even gotten into like if you need music, there's music in here. You can have different brand templates, which if I wanted to change from the Opus Clip style to myself, I can click on that. It'll overwrite my current settings, so I'm not going to do that, but that is an option I have. AI Enhance, I don't really see any filler words or pauses. But what I would do is because I have the captions, notice how I'm able to have the captions move depending what's on screen, right? Like when I'm down here, maybe I bring them in a little bit higher to the safe zone. And notice that there is a safe zone for 9:16 videos, so I know what is covered by text and what is not. And now I have a video that is honestly ready to go on Opus Clip. I want to take a moment to look at some of the comments. I wish they didn't have monthly. I understand that. I also know that they are always looking at ways to improve things, especially. So that's feedback you can definitely make sure to give the Opus team. I'm sure they'd be interested in hearing that out. I know it's more of a limit of the tools and systems that they're using and tapping into to get all this stuff possible. So it's kind of not an only them thing. So I understand that and totally hear you on that when it comes to it, Timmy Tech support. Another thing is that I see you said Nick has made a video of free shorts. Make like this one, Opus Clip, go watch his channel. You can also do a lot in Opus Clip's free tools. There's one you don't even need an account. So if you go to Opus's like website, this is something I show people a lot. If you have short videos or you just kind of want to give it a shot, if you go to features, there is the free YouTube thumbnail maker, which is actually pretty good. You just drop in your video and you can include a face. You can do a lot. It can generate based on public and unlisted links. It's one of those things that, you know, they're working on a lot of things to help the, you know, for free. And that's one of those things that I just want to take a moment to talk about. They also have a lot of resources and like ways that you can earn stuff. So that's one of those situations where all you have to do is go to their website, click on features, click on, you know, the thumbnail maker. I'll put this in chat if you'd like to try out the thumbnail maker. But yeah, Opus does a lot to try to help out. And, you know, they do giveaways frequently on their Discord. They do competitions. So Opus really does care about that community. They are not, you know, that's one of the things I like. And when it comes to anyone I work with, it's how do they handle and take care of their community at every level, every price point. And that's something I really appreciate about working with them. And that's actually been reasons I've stopped working with other brands in the past, but I don't have to worry about that with Opus, thankfully. Now, we talked a lot about some basic video editing. I wanted to go back to this one. It's still working on generating my either Premiere or DaVinci Resolve file. We've talked about, you know, kind of some of the credit stuff. So now let's go back to the dashboard. We've been loading stuff in the background here. Both of these, I believe, this one is the ones we did clips. So another thing we want to, you know, do as we're looking at, you know, editing some of these is if you're looking to edit the clip, you can also, you know, we talked about someone who has 90-minute transcripts or 90-minute files. Like this transcript is very usable. It matches what is on, you know, the live stream. One thing you can do in Opus, which I really do appreciate, under their asset library here, you can add in proper nouns. So I've added my name, which is Andrew Can with a K. I've added my signature phrase, if I can, you can too. That way Opus knows in the captions to use that K. I've also added can by itself. So if I say can in context of like Andrew Can, it knows to change that from a C to a K. And that level of integration saves me a lot of time as well. And that beauty of that, like I said, is now that I'm in here, I can click these three dots. Now I could download the entire file if I wanted to again. because, it did add in the captions as we watch, and if I'm watching this in this view, I'd probably edit this to be on top and not over here or even slightly above. You can edit your stuff around it. But now we can click download subtitles in two ways. SRT for YouTube. Now, I would always recommend read through the transcript, right? I know at the end I say I'm Andrew Can. So that's one of those things. I can also say I usually say it at the beginning. So like I know if I say a name or maybe my guest has their name spelled a different way. You should always spot check this. However, now I can download this subtitle file and it's ready to download. It downloaded. It's downloading now. Just got to wait for my computer. I'm running a lot of Google Chrome tabs. This one is an Andrew problem, not an Opus problem. But I'm just going to save that really quickly. I don't know if you were able to hear that little error noise, but what I get for running like 40 different files all at once. So, gonna have that. It didn't save, but I think I accidentally. Oh, no, it did. All right, so now going to add this to an area in my documents that I called SRT files, YouTube video SRT files, because I'm very clever when it comes to file naming. I hope that joke makes sense. So I call it YouTube SRT files. Let's save it there. And then what I can do on my own channel, and I'll show this on here, is I have an SRT file now that is usable for YouTube. And so as we go through, and if you're following along, which you always should, you can go and do this yourself. So we're going to go to one of the videos that, as this is downloading, you can also add and download the SRT file from here. What this does for you is it lets you easily, if it is just the whole video like I showed, if it's something like this, you can download it from here. And that helps you a lot when it comes to your captions on YouTube, doing these different things. And that's one of those things about Opus Clip I really appreciate, because when you're using it, it's not just about YouTube shorts or, vertical video. It's so much more you can do. Some of the things like removing those removing those pauses can take you, let's be honest, 30 minutes to sometimes hours, depending on your speed. And the fact it can handle that within the editor is really fun. You can also edit within your own different editor of choice. Right now, it supports a bunch of different ones. You can check out the support portal for what it supports, but it says Adobe Premiere, it says DaVinci, just to mention a few. But I also want to make sure I talk about their free captions tool, because it's also really, really good as well. So let me make sure I link to the free captions tool. I'm going to put this in the chat. So let's go. Want to make sure I am getting that link for you all. And if you have any questions about anything we've shown off today, please let me know. This is just one of many things Opus can help handle and do. So I want to make sure I link to this. There we are. Link that in the description down below as well. I got a note to myself for what to do later. All right, and then we have that. Just waiting on some of these files to load and generate some of the things we've been waiting on. But that, again, goes to show just how much we've been able to do. I've been able to save, looking at it, we went from a 55-minute to 47 minutes of usable live stream footage that I will need to review. But even then, in that review process, you can watch at double speed. You can also look at the transcript. You can watch some of the areas where it cuts. That's something that's really good and useful. Another thing we can do as we're looking at the editor, I talk about YouTube Shorts. And actually, I think it is from someone watching here today. So I'm going to hit edit clip. And I'm going to make sure that I take a look here. So how many YouTube shorts can you upload in a day? And I'm going to start here, because I feel like this would make for a really good video when it comes to just as a starting point. And I actually want to check because I think this is the same person who's in the chat. So let's go when I have this pulled up. And it is. I got to say, Kent, thank you for joining multiple times. I do appreciate it. Kent is a frequenter here at the streams, and that does not go unnoticed. How many shorts can you upload in a day? Now, for this, because I'm showing a comment on screen, Phil may not be the best version of this to use, right? So maybe I should switch to Fit, right? And then you can see I can edit this, so I could put this above, take the emoji with it. So now the captions, the emojis are here. But when I remove whenever I remove your comment, I could go easily do this. Now what I want to do is I want to split. And instead of that fit we were using before, we'll go back to fill. Because there is a difference between these, right? And it's so natural. And that, again, I could have done that in an editing software, but the fact I can do that quickly, I may want to also, move these captions, look for that safe area. But it's just a different way you can handle it. How many shorts? Well, technically 100, so I think is right here. I will say maybe I add a little bit more just to say here. I might add just a little bit more to the ending, and another way I can do that is instead of doing that, I can drag on the timeline. And it's smart, it's contextual, it understands what I'm looking for. That's it. And again, it's not just such an abrupt cut and ready to go. Another thing you can do, which if you're editing and you're looking for moments, I don't see a lot of people, talk about this, but you can filter a lot. You can sort clips by different ways. There's a lot of ways that you can do all these things that really can help you. So I like to look for specific lengths when it comes to this. There's, 30 to 60 if I want, the 60 to 90 if I'm looking for a specific clip length. So there we are. Different ways that you can use the tools. And then if I am also, considering that there might be ones that I've liked that I want to use. I've liked this one, so I do want to use this. Again, you can always look at transcript only. We've edited this live, so this is now ready for me to download and use. And even for these files, you can download an SRT, and you can use those with it. Just again, if you're looking to add captions, not only in the videos, but on YouTube's backend, you absolutely can do that with Opus Clip. And we've talked so much about just some of the light editing you can do. There's more in-depth stuff that we didn't even talk about yet. And that really is where I lead it to you in the audience. What is slowing you down when it comes to, video editing? What are those things that you were thinking of? Are you looking for, cuts that feel natural? Like, what is your natural, like I said natural before, I said natural again. What is your inclination? What are you looking for? Because the more data you tell us and the more things you tell us, chat, and people watching, the better we can get at just making better content and helping more people get into this. Because one thing I like about Opus, and I have actually used this to help people understand editing, is like you can study the stuff it's doing within, your editor of choice. In fact, let's take that to the next step. If I hit export to XML, again, this one is a lot easier to export than the bigger file, which did eventually load. It's just, you got to keep in mind that it does take a bit, but while you're doing that, maybe this is time that you're editing, other videos or clips. This could also be times where you're working on a thumbnail. Maybe you put the unlisted video within, Opus Clip thumbnail generator, or you open up your editor of choice. Maybe it's Photoshop, Affinity, whatever you like to use. And so my XML is downloaded. I'll put this in my downloads. I'll quickly hit save. And now what I can do, I can open this. I can export it, which I'll do now quickly. It will be a zip file, so you will need to extract. So now now that I have it, here's what we're going to do. It gives you different ways that you can use this, right? So if you need import to Premiere, they give you a GIF, which you can open in your app of choice. Just one, so I'll use VLC to watch this GIF. Shows you how to do it if you need help. You can also, there's a PDF, which I appreciate how they actually have a lot that you can utilize to get all the different stuff, right? It tells you how to do it. So if you're brand new and you need guidance, that's one thing I like about Opus Clip is that it provides all of this to help you. So I'm going to open Premiere as I have a million tabs and I'm really testing out the different ways to use my my editing software, my computer. I'm really putting it through its paces. Good to see you there, Beanie, who's lurking. Don't just lurk, say something. Love to see you, Beanie. Good to see you. So now I am going to just quickly, as I need to move my editing software over here. Because I know a little bit, believe it or not, he does use these products a lot. So we're going to go ahead and go back to where we need to go. And so we're going to go and follow along where it says open project. We're going to go to my downloads where I save this. And then we're going to click results XML, opening it within Premiere. It's going to load. Just going to take a moment. Opening project. And then you can see how Opus has done it. And it is helpful if you are brand new here. Or like even this, right? If you're like, what is this? Oh, that's the emoji. Why did it do it there? Now, one thing you'll notice that's a little different that Opus does within Opus Clip that it doesn't do here is the blurred background. Now, there's a couple of things that, you can do here. You can do that yourself, or maybe this is where, you bring in your different files that you have, right? So maybe, because like I know myself, I have a branded background. So if I was going to use this, maybe I want to use that. If I'm Opus, right? Like we've gone from Opus Clip to a video editor, and they support DaVinci, which is 100% free. Well, they have a 100% free version, I should say. They have a paid version as well. So these are just things that you could easily do to support yourself, right? So I have this Opus Clip background. Now, we talked about maybe I want to use this all together. I can raise this on the timeline, add in my Opus Clip background. If I do this right, trying to see where my Opus Clip file is. I think it might just be, there we go. So maybe I want to do more with the Opus Clip background. Maybe this is something I want to do. And like this goes to show just how deep you can get. We went from Opus Clip to now I'm in a video editing software and we're going really deep. So I could add a blur by typing in blur. I could add in a, Gaussian blur. And then I have a similar look to what I have, but it might be a little branded. Maybe I still want that branding to be kind of clear, and it'll do the cuts for me. That's pretty good. Now keep in mind, unlike an Opus, because I don't have the, the contextual bits of Opus Clip, I can't extend like I did there, but that's fine. It's more than okay, because that's where you can go back to Opus Clip and you can experiment. And you can try things, and you can see how it does it, and you can try different ways that Opus Clip is doing everything we've shown off here today. That text is really good. It is. And one thing you can look at is like, if you look at how things do, like they talk about how they do things and their solutions. They talk a lot about how and why they make decisions. You can also check out their news by clicking here. So if you're ever like, man, what is they doing? Now they can auto import YouTube playlists. There's new UI language available. Their accuracy is improved because they've integrated with 11 labs for pro users, which has led to more accurate caption transcribing and less manual editing. So they give you a lot of news and a lot of updates. Thank you. And I will say, legal-minded friends Karen Cole, keep in mind, that is a very fair point. I am an editor who has been doing this since I was 12. So I'm 30. That's 18 years of my life. I've been editing more than I've not edited in my life. So for me, this is very quick and second nature. But that's why Opus is here to help. And it's a lot simpler. And again, if you're new to Premiere, you're new to these things, you don't know any of this, you can study it. You can look at how Opus did this, right? If we go here, oh, it's lowered my scale. Why did it do that? Oh, Control Z. If I put my scale to 100, what does that look like? Different. Oh, I can move this. What happens if I do this? Play around. It can help you get better. I could do that with this as well. There's the Opus Clip logo in this, right? So maybe I wanted to show off Opus Clip a little more. And we focus on the Opus logo, and maybe, this file, I lower it and, we keep the Opus logo, or there's a lot we can play around with. And that is the beauty of what we're doing here today. We started in Opus Clip. We're now in Premiere. Like, that is crazy fast and how we were able to do it. And as you play around with it, maybe you're playing around with it in DaVinci Resolve, these are all edits you can also make in Opus. That's something I like about it. I love how easy it is to use. I love how much they're working on making it better. And that's the thing. When it comes to any of these tools, look at the ones that are actively listening to the audience, finding those pain points, right? For a lot, the reason I did this live stream, this workshop, was I understand that editing can be a challenge. Like, I've done this for a long time, but I remember what it's like to learn a new software and learn a new thing. It's not always easy. But when tools have lots of ways, and you could subscribe to this YouTube channel if you made it this far in. They do tutorials on how to do a lot of what I'm showing. We have these bi-weekly live streams where we talk about a different topic. Our next topic, we might be polling the posts here on the YouTube channel, so you definitely check it out. But it's one of those things where Opus Clip is not only for YouTube Shorts. You can make long form clips. You can download SRT files. You can have good captions and then add them to your YouTube videos. In fact, let's show that SRT file thing I was showing you right now. I have not added captions to this live stream just because it takes a while. But now that we're downloading and we're going to documents and we're going to my YouTube SRT file folder. I know that was quick, but you're just downloading it. Save it wherever you want. Download your file, save it where you're going to. On YouTube, what you're not doing with Opus Clip and YouTube Shorts. Go to YouTube. Don't worry, the replay will be available. You're going to go ahead, click subtitles, upload file. Now, Opus Clip has timings, with timings. We are going to go, not from downloads, we're going to go to, let me find where everything is saved. One moment. We're going to go to where I saved it. What you're not doing in Opus Clip. We're going to click on that. On lines 945. Allow errors and continue. We'll see what that is. So excited to be talking live with you today. This is also where you could chop up this. So sometimes things like this can happen normally. What I would tell you to do is you can just easily spot check this. So we're going to copy this. I'm going to delete it. And then I'm going to add another beat under it. So we can shorten this segment. Now I'm just playing with YouTube's own editor. One moment. We're going to make this instead. We'll say it's probably about 9:16. Now I can add in the second part of this segment. And then again, you should really spot check. But already we have an SRT file where we didn't before. And sometimes it gets a little long-winded. But most of the time it's pretty good. And it's better than not having it. So you can spot check this and make sure it looks as good. You can also edit it as text. That's another way you can do it. You can edit it as text and tell it to edit the timings down for you. And that can help a lot because it can be a lot of text. But these are all things that can help you. Another thing you could do is download your text files, right? So this is all stuff that we've been able to do within Opus. We now have it. We can save it as a draft. So it's saved as a draft because I'm going to have to come back. But it goes to show just how much more you could do with Opus Clip. I could also take that SRT file, pull it into something like Gemini, ChatGPT, whatever you want to use, if you're comfortable using it. But you understand there's some people out there who don't want to. You tell it to analyze your SRT, help me come up with the YouTube chapters, keeping SEO in mind. This is what the title is. Boom. All of a sudden, you've got, for your up to 120-minute live stream, you've got SRT files, you got captions. That's more data for YouTube, more things for you, and it's definitely helping in more ways than just editing. But hopefully, I've given you a lot that you can try out here today. I see from Susan, aka Homekeeping Channel. I love Opus. Makes life easy for people like me who finds making videos a challenge. It definitely can be very much an assistant, especially for those things. Like, that's what I tell folks when it comes to using Opus Clip, is that it really is here to assist you, to make things a little bit easier. And when you get better one day at a time, one thing at a time, that's how real growth happens. And that's what you can expect here on the Opus Clip YouTube channel. That's what you can expect from me, Andrew Can. Said that just so the SRT file can have that can and use those assets, like I said. But as always, I'm Andrew Can. Thank you, Opus Clip, for having me, and thank you for watching. Take care.